Hello. Hi guys. So this is question number 6, okay? Strategic management, chapter number 1. And the question here is limitations of strategic management. What do you mean by this question? This question is very simple. This question is trying to tell you that strategy is very important for a company. It is not just important that you want to take first rank. You really have to sort out some game plan, blueprint, your line of action. What are you going to do? In what way you're going to achieve that first rank? So this is strategy, right? Strategy is nothing but your managerial process of drafting out your mission statement and setting the objectives and how you're going to craft it and all that. So when it comes to the strategic management, the strategy helps you to get that rank number 1. The strategy helps you to become the global delivery partner. It helps you to become number 1 in Asia. It helps you to become that great box office hit. Like you want to become the not just the box office hit, you want to make a pan-India film. So that is your objective, that is your vision, that's what you are trying to do, that's your objective. So how are you going to do that? What genre you are going to pick up? And what is the strategy is a line of action, right? So obviously strategy has a lot of advantages. You cannot say if you undertake strategy to achieve something, you have certain disadvantages. No, there is no disadvantages in taking up a strategy. Firstly, I would like to clear that out. There can be no question where they ask, okay, state the disadvantages of strategy. No, if you undertake strategical process, if you have some game plan, if you have some action plan, if you have some blueprint, if you know what you're going to do in order to go to that number 1 rank or to be the global leader or to make that successful pan-India film, if you have that vision in your mind and the action plan with which you're going to conquer that kingdom of yours, nothing is wrong. And because you take up strategy or strategic approach or strategical application, nothing will go wrong. And there is definitely no, because I undertake strategy, these are the advantages my company has gone through. No, there is going to be no disadvantages at all when you take up this strategical application. So what is this question? This question is asking you limitations of strategic management. It's like understand that disadvantages of something and limitations of something are not one and the same. Disadvantages is like when you use a product, okay, you'll get skin irritation. Okay, if you take this medicine, your liver will be upset. So when you do something, you have some bad effect, harmful effect, ill effect, that is called as disadvantages. But what do you mean by limitation? Limitation is like when you read a book like for 100 times, obviously you will get rank number 1. Right? This is the proven strategy. Okay, this is a proven strategy. When you spend more time in your book or when you have written like you've written like 10 model exams, definitely you'll pass a main exam. This is the strategy, right? But at certain points, even the strategy will not work or will not be able to help you. Why? When does your strategy loses its power? It has lost its power. Why in the world my strategy has lost its power? Because it has lost its power, I'm not able to win. Why? So limitations would mean, yes, my strategy is super good, yes, my strategy is foolproof and everything is fine, but in certain situation my strategy will go powerless. No power for my strategy. Why? This is called as limitations of strategic management. There are only 4 key points for these limitations. One is, see, first of all, I'll just explain you why strategic management has some limitations. Limitations would mean when I plan something, it has to happen, right? That is the success rate. If I plan something that is not happening, then my strategy is going wrong or it is not working, it has become powerless. Why it did become powerless? Why did it go powerless? Abdin question the limitation. What is a limitation? For example, I am planning to give the free beans. If you buy Sunland refined sunflower oil, I will give you some free matchbox. This is what I am offering. If you were buying this chocolate, I am going to give you some lollipop as a freebie. So I am planning this strategy. With what in mind do I plan the strategy? I plan that whenever I announce some freebies or whenever I announce some discount, people will be just hogging on to my product. People will be attracted by my product's announcements like you get 40% discount. Okay, people will be attracted. You give some freebie, people will be attracted. This is what I intend in my mind. Okay, so every time I come with a new product launch, I'm asking the consumers to taste my new product. I'm launching my new product. I'm asking the people to taste it, and then I'm asking them to write the flavor in a paper, and I'm asking them to send it to me. Do you understand? Why am I doing this? This is a promotional event. Okay, I'm launching a new sweet and I'm offering the sweets to everybody in the launch event. And in the launch event, on the people are tasting the food, or people are tasting that food item or edible item. They're tasting it, and then they're coming up with a flavor. This is what is involved in this food, or this is what is a flavor that is involved in this chocolate, or this is what is involved in this snack item. They have to come up with their own conclusions. Whomever is concluding it in the right way, they'll be given some rewards. Why am I holding this promotional event? Because my strategy is to promote my product to the people very attractively. So I do this. But unfortunately, COVID has struck India, right? And I have planned the promotional event on the month of April. But in March, we had lockdown in 2020. What in the world my strategy will do when these lockdown is in place? I cannot hold a promotional event. And I cannot even do the promotional event through online, because I cannot give the snack bar to everybody in the launch event to taste and give me the conclusion. So if I have to re-devise the entire promotional event into the offline event, I really have to send all my chocolates, okay, with the new flavor to lots of people's house address. And then I have to make them attend the online session, and everybody should eat the product at the same time, and then they really have to conclude it. Don't you think my strategy was super solid? But when the entire economy was struck by the COVID lockdown event, my strategy lost its power. It is something like this. You are expecting a reaction from the people. You are expecting some counter reaction from people, because you are acting out, right? What is your action? You are announcing some discount. You are announcing some freebies. You are announcing some launch event. For example, Airtel came up with the promotional event like a decade ago. Okay, they said, please. They just came out with a promotional event saying that you have to design the logo for Airtel. We are inviting lots of logos from students, from general public. Whichever logo is being chosen by the board of directors will be announced as the Airtel's logo. This is how they promote it. Don't you think this is a strategy to make people connect with the brand? Because when you announce like this, even a homemaker who is not at all interested in Airtel's affairs, they will definitely come up with the logo. Oh, why don't you put this design? Why don't you use this color? Should I draw and send them? Whether they take the effort to draw, whether they make the effort to draft a logo and send it to the Airtel's management is totally out of the question. The question is whether the homemaker took a minute to think about what should be the logo. Because 10 years ago or 15 years ago, when they announced this promotional event, okay, everybody thought of a design. Everybody at least took a minute, okay, to think about what should be the design, what should be the color, whether it should be alphabetical oriented, or it should be numerical, or it should have towers in the logo, or it should have two people talking, or it should be having that sound waves or air. Everybody was bubbling with so many ideas. Do you understand? So this promotional event is basically designed by Airtel company as a strategy to make a connect with the people. Correct? Likewise, you have many companies making lots and lots of efforts to make this connect with the people, to actually craft some strategy in order to win the minds of people. Everybody is just shouting for what? For people's attention. The moment I think about shirts, I get to think about certain brand. The moment I think about phones, I do think about some brand. In the same way, whenever I think of a product, what are the brands that comes to my mind? Those brands are the winning or successful brand, because those brands made an effort to engrave the name of those brands into my mind. Similarly, everybody is trying to win over the customers, the consumers, the competitors, the entire government or the entire stakeholders. They're trying to win over everyone. So they are crafting a strategy. So generally, crafting a strategy would mean I have a lineup of actions. This is what I do. This is what I should announce. This is what I should come up with a new product. The new product should be in this flavor. It will attract South Indians, North Indians, East Indians, West Indians. Everything I'm coming up with. Like when I draft a strategy, I always have a reaction in my mind. If I do this, people will react like this way. If I do this, the customers will react in this way. If the customers are reacting at this momentum, definitely my product will be a success. Which means every action in my strategic plan is based upon the responses from the public, responses from the consumers, responses from my competitors, which means strategy is full of anticipated reactions, responses, and responding actions from the competitors, people, everybody. Whatever I do, okay, whatever I do only in expectation of something. If that expectation is not happening, then my strategy will not work. Do you understand? This is failure of my anticipation, or failure, or I fail to anticipate or to predict something properly. Do you understand? Which means strategy will work only if the environment in which you operate. What is environment? Environment is where people supply you some raw materials. He's got a supplier. You give the products to your consumers. Okay, those people are your targeted customers. You are in a country, you are operating in a country where you have the government, you have the politicians, yes, you have the media, you have everyone around you. These people are called as your environment. And particularly there is one person, one category of people who is always eyeing on you. Who are they? When you are IKEA and there are a lot of furniture showrooms, who is going to act as your local competitors? If IKEA is coming to India, there is a lot of local competitors in furnishing department. Okay, if Reliance is going to introduce JioMart or Reliance JioMart, then obviously Zepto is going to give them a tough competition. Which means the main competitor world, whatever you do, you really have to make your strategy or your actions very, how do you call? You have to make it very realistically possible, because if you do a thing, what is the odds that your competitor will not copy that? What if he copies it? If he copies it, will it work? Or it is very costly to copy? Or will he not be able to copy because your strategy is so complicated? What makes you different from the other competitors? So which means there are only 4 limitations. Okay, main 2 limitations are the entire strategy of every company is built upon the anticipated reactions and responses from the environment. And the environment has so much of turbulence and complications. Today you have lockdown, tomorrow there is a lift of the ban. Today you really need to compulsorily wear mask, and just 10 days afterwards there is no compulsion to wear mask. There are a lot of turbulence that is happening. One day there is a tornado in the North American parts, and as a result there is no electricity for nearly 10 million people. And obviously your clients are there in North America, so TCS is not able to operate here, which means you have a lot of turbulence and complications to operate in your environment. So first limitation is that even though my strategy is so powerful, it becomes powerless when environment has some power outage or environment has some lockdown, and the environment is so complicated and turbulent that I am not able to understand it. And number 2, in the environment there are many people, right? There are suppliers, there are retailers, wholesalers, your consumers, media, government, general public, everybody is there. But then one important firmament it is your competitor. What if you come up with a strategy and the same strategy is also being applied by your competitor? What will happen? Okay, so that is very important, because competitors' response, if you expect that they will copy and they are not copying it, what will happen? If you expect that if I carry out this strategy, my competitor will not react. This is what you anticipated, but then your competitor is reacting in a very weird way. You are not able to give cut off competition to him. What will happen? So main 2 limitation is that competitor and the general environment. The other 2 are, number 1, it is very costly. So, I mean, like, you're talking about strategy, you're talking about a strategist, you're talking about chief strategic officer, you're talking about consulting him, and he's very costly. Okay, you really have to consult him, you really have to go and go, not just see, for example, you're a company CEO. If you go and meet the strategic officer, it's not enough. All your functional managers, all your business level heads, you and the trained employees and the ground level employees, everybody have to meet the strategist. And the strategist will take a long time to analyze the data, to interpret the data, to read the data of your company, your competitors, what is your company doing, what is the business of your company, and what is the strategy you've been implementing, and now onwards if you're going to draft a new strategy, what would it be, and what are the problems. You really have to make the ground level employees understand what a strategy is. And obviously when you do all these things, for example, to come up with a new strategy, okay, to come up with a new strategy, it at least requires some 30 meetings, and these meetings has to necessarily happen with the purchase department head, finance department head, accounts department head, and then the marketing department head, and then the public relations officers head. Everybody has to meet with the strategist at least for 30 times. While these meetings are happening, obviously your normal routine operations will get stuck. You should be able to bear that loss. You should be able to give that time off the normal routines, and you really have to concentrate on the new strategy that is going to be drafted, which means it is really a costly process. Your routines will be affected, your normal road routines will be affected. New strategy, you have to come up with new strategy, would mean you have to draft it. Drafting is comparatively easier. Imagine how are you going to implement it. You're going to make the ground level people understand your strategy, and they have to be cohesive with you. They also should appreciate the strategy. They should not be repulsive. Okay, they should totally not retaliate it. They should be adjustive. They should be more cooperative with you. Only then the implementation becomes successful. So it's a huge process by itself, from the drafting stage to the implementation stage, and to monitor it and to initiate any corrective actions. Oh my God, that's a costly process, and obviously it takes a lot of time. So you have to only 4 limitations. It's time consuming, it is very costly, and then the environment in which you are operating is very turbulent and complicated. And number 4, your competitors are very uncertain or unpredictable. Okay, I'll show you the yes, I'll share the page with you. So this is question number 6. We have the strategic management and the limitations of strategic management. And what do you mean by strategic management? Strategic management is a managerial process of developing a strategic vision and setting the objectives and crafting a strategy and implementing it, okay, and then evaluating it, and then initiating any corrective actions or adjustments wherever it deems appropriate. So this is your strategic management definition or whatever. And then you're now going to talk about the limitation. I told you what is a limitation. Even though your strategy is super powerful, still it lacks its power, or it loses its power in certain area. What are those areas? So here it is. The presence of strategic management cannot counter every hindrances. Hindrances mean problems. Countering means attacking. See, like your strategy cannot attack every problem that is going to come in the future, because you cannot predict the 100% future. And also your environment is constantly evolving and changing. So obviously in certain places your strategy will lose its power. Those are what? Number 1, it's a very time consuming process. Number 2, it is a costly process. I mean, like, yeah, time consuming and costly. It's very time consuming, and it is very cost consuming. It consumes a lot of cost, and it consumes a lot of time. And the other 2 sections is where environment is highly complex and turbulent, and in the environment there's one firmament. I've told you, one category. That category is competitors. So competitors and their actions are unpredictable. So these are the 4 most important limitations. Okay, what is it? Time consuming and cost consuming. And then the general environment, which is very turbulent and how do you call it? It's very complex, complicated, highly turbulent, constantly evolving, and all that. And especially in the environment, you have one category who is called as your competitors, and every action of your competitor is so important to you, and when it is highly unpredictable, your strategy might fall out of its place. Okay, so here there is just the explanation of whatever I've told you now. You can just take a read. But what is most important in the examination? The 4 topics are most important: time consuming, cost consuming, environment is highly turbulent and complex, and then your competitors and competition is very highly unpredictable. With this, we come to the end of this question. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe. Please do subscribe. Like and share, and whatever comments you have, you can please share it in the comments column. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.